Happy 4th of July. We're combining wheat today. Can you tell? We're on a green card. Now it's time to hurry up and wait. Where'd Dad go? I think so. Dad's running the combine. He must be doing some end rows. I'll just sit and wait for him. So I thought for sure nobody would join this because y'all have better stuff to do on the 4th of July than watch me combine wheat, right? Surely you do. And yet there are 50 of you watching in the first 2 minutes. So here you are. Hope everybody's having a good day, weekend. Got tomorrow off, so you can have a good party tonight, tomorrow, whatever. Where are we at with the comments here? All chat, live chat. That's what we want. Go back to the beginning. Good morning. Stephen, where are you that it is morning? Because it's 6:30 in the evening here. Jason, happy 4th. What's the wheat yielding? Well, I'm not in the combine, but when I was just a little bit ago, it was 99.9. We're sitting right at 100 bushel average, although Dad's doing some end rows at the moment, so it'll probably drop a little bit, but 100 bushel wheat, right around that, which is awesome. Happy 4th. Happy 4th, everybody. Good afternoon. How are you? Happy 4th of July from down under. You guys celebrate 4th of July in Australia? I mean, I know America's awesome, but that's probably a stretch, right? Combining wheat in Ontario. How is your wheat in Ontario, Jeff? Happy Independence Day. How many acres of wheat total? We had about 475 acres of wheat total. David, thank you for that super chat. That's awesome. Really appreciate it. Nice work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Can you control the slide gate on the joystick or just the spout? Right, so joystick. This controls the spout in and out, so it pushes it farther or closer to across the truck, front and back to control the rotation of the spout towards the front or the back of the truck. And then this one pivots the entire auger up and down. Watch behind me. See the auger move up and down? Yeah. So no, I cannot control the slide gate on the bigger Brent Avalanche grain carts like the 1500, 2000, 2500 bushel carts. I believe they do put buttons on there for the slide gate, but I don't have that. It's a separate remote, which is fine. I don't have a life yet. Just finished baling 50 acres of hay. Nice. Our guys are baling straw. It's they're making progress, but I don't know. They should get that field that we combined yesterday done today, so that would be good. 5th of July in Australia. Yep. So that's why it's morning also, because it's about, I don't know, sometime in the morning in Australia. Yep. Storms coming in South Florida. Can't do much with a broken ankle. Yep, that'll do it. Around 90 to 95 per acre in Canada. Good for you guys. Is quality okay? Everything seems to have been pretty good on our wheat so far. So that's it's been a welcome change of pace. Last year our wheat was not great. I think we averaged in the low 70s last year because we had a frost on May 9th that really hurt the wheat. So to be pushing 100 bushel wheat this year is awesome. Our typical average, I would say 80 to 85 is kind of where we're hoping to be. I mean, we're hoping to do better than that, but if we get 80, 85 bushel wheat, we're pretty happy every year. So this is good. Noticed that you had said in years past that you don't plant double crop beans. I noticed that you said you are going to double crop this year. Any reason for the change? Markets, moisture, etc. Well, so we don't double crop beans every year. We did not double crop any beans last year. However, I try or would like to double crop beans every year, but we're kind of right on the fringe area, I would say, that can do it sometimes, but not always, and it depends on a few factors. So last year we did not plant any double crop beans because, one, our wheat came out late. It was probably, I'd have to go back and look, but the 10th-ish of July before we started combining wheat. And if we're going to plant double crop beans, I want them planted by the 10th of July. After that, it gets real iffy. The other thing that was working against us last year is it was super dry. Do you guys remember how much irrigating I was doing the end of June last year? And we haven't even touched that this year because we're plenty wet, and so we have moisture this year. We're early. It's July 4th today. We've got beans in the ground already. I planted them this afternoon, and we are we've got good markets, right? So last year at this time we thought beans were going to be $8.50 in the fall, which doesn't mean don't plant double crop beans, but it doesn't give you as much incentive as when beans are $13 or $14. You pick up $5-6 a bushel, and 30 bushel an acre double crop beans. That's a substantial increase in income per acre. So things have aligned really well this year to plant the double crop beans and to do well. So it's worth a shot. So the original intent was to plant about 100 acres. Basically, this field we're combining right now, there's 110 acres here. This was what we were going to plant to double crops. Because we have moisture and it's early and the grain markets are really good, we decided to plant some more. So we've got another 90-ish acres that we've already combined that's getting planted now. We may or may not do another field beyond that after we get this one done. It just depends on timing again, because it's supposed to start raining here in the middle of the week, and if we get rained out for a week, then it gets to be too late, and how fast they can get the straw baled. So it's good. It's good. Yeah. So yeah, Dawn, any double crops planted yet? Yes, we started planting them this afternoon. We've got 35-ish acres planted. May get some more tonight yet. Depends on how the straw guys do. If not, it'll be tomorrow morning. Always about ready this time. I assume, yeah, comment on the wheat of almost ready on the 4th of July. You're right. It is always about the 4th, sometimes right before, sometimes right after, but that's okay. Yep, a few beans in the ground. Who bales your wheat? So a friend of mine, neighbor, lives right around the corner. He's bought our straw equipment from us probably 15 years ago now, and he does all the baling. If anybody is semi-local to Northwest Ohio and needs some small square bales, send me a message and I'll get you in touch with him. It's good stuff. What's the wheat price now? I looked at our ticket that Phil had hauled some in earlier this week, or yesterday, day before, and it was $6.62, I think it said, cash price. We're filling contracts that were made a while ago. Some of them are much less than that. But we should have plenty of bushels to sell, and it's good prices. That's good. 100 bushel wheat is pretty darn good. And I remember if we got 60, that was good 40 years ago. Yeah, 100 bushel wheat is good wheat. If I get 60 bushel wheat, I am very disappointed. I was very disappointed in our 70 bushel wheat last year. So it is what it is. Now, our wheat is different than what they're growing out in Nebraska, Kansas, through the northern plains. I know it's typical for them to get 40 to 60 bushel wheat out there, and 100 bushel is unheard of. So different type of wheat, spring wheat versus winter wheat, hard red wheat versus soft red. So Northwest Ohio here is a pretty good area for growing wheat. We tend to have the right climate, and we can crank some bushels out. Read my comment. There you go, David. Good evening from fellow farmer in England. Welcome. It's got to be really late there. What are your highest yield of wheat in your area? So I haven't heard much from anybody else. Everything I have heard has been hovering right around the 100 bushel mark for this year, but that's mostly been south into Ohio a ways. So we'll see when everybody else gets in the fields and compared to what ours is. But I think everybody's got really good wheat this year. I kind of was hoping this field would be a little better than 100 bushel, but I'm not complaining. We've got another 1.5 mile up the road here that I think will be better. I don't know. We've got some really good wheat. Did you ever get your amp fixed in your boat? I haven't messed with it at all, so no. And it's just a dead battery. I just need to charge the battery. We've taken the boat out one time this year. My wife wanted to go to the lake tonight for the fireworks, but I'm busy. I can't. So what happens to your wheat ground that you don't replant beans? Doesn't the weeds go wild? Right. So where we don't plant double crop beans, we've got a few different things going on. One of those fields, you'll remember back in March, we frost seeded some clover for a cover crop. We have a beautiful clover stand, and you'll see that when we get to that field. It's later. That one's one of the later ones we've combined. But so that clover will take over. We do intend to do some tiling there. That's where all those rolls of tile are sitting. And it's the field that I flew last week with that fungicide trial strip in it. So that's that one. A couple of the other fields, Dad wants to do some dirt work in with our pans or backhoe or whatever. Just doing some land improvement and surface drainage type stuff. So the weeds will kind of start to come in, but they shouldn't be too terrible. The volunteer wheat will start to grow, but the plan on those fields that don't have clover and are not getting double cropped is towards the end of August we're going to have chicken litter spread, and then we will work that ground down and plant some more cover crop, probably the oats and radish again. Now we may handle it a little different than last year since they dried out so slowly over the spring this year, and that's cover crop stuff, but that kind of remains to be seen. But we're going to plant it, and then either we'll kill it off in the fall or we'll kill it off super early in the spring so that it dries out better. I don't know. We haven't decided how we're going to handle that yet, but that's the plan. How much are they going for? I need the equivalent of 3 round bales. Small squares, I have no idea what they're getting out of small squares of straw right now. I would guess, purely a guess, so don't hold me to it, $3 to $4 a bale, somewhere in that range, 3-ish, I would say. "8:30 a.m. in Australia. Currently have 15,000 acres of winter wheat planted here." Wow, that's a lot of wheat. Awesome. "How many day beans are you running? My green beans got destroyed by deer, and I'm looking at just tilling them in and replanting them." So your green beans, you should be fine to do that. Won't matter at all. As far as for the beans that we're planting, soybeans, double crop. So beans don't have a day rating, but they're rated on relative maturity. And we typically here will plant a 2.5, although I'll go as early as a 2.2, to a 3.5 maturity bean. And we are planting 3.1s today, and I've got some 2.8s that are going in this field. So the thing about beans is they don't mature based on heat units like corn does. We gotta actually do some work here. Beans mature based on the day length of day. And so if you plant an ultra early bean, a 2.5 or a 2.2, this late, you're not only cutting off the front half of the season because you're planting them so late, you're cutting off the back half of the season because they're going to start seeing the shorter days and start maturing. But you don't want to plant a super full season bean, the 3.5s, 3.3s, because they'll never mature. They'll start to mature because of the day length, but then they'll get frosted off before they finish. So you want something kind of in that middle range. 2.9, 3.0 would be perfect. The varieties I happen to have this year are a 2.8 and a 3.1, so they'll be okay. Here, can you guys see? You want to watch the combine? Put the camera. How come the combine isn't full and calling yak? Well, he was doing end rows. So Hey Scott, what's the yield? How many acres do you have wheat in total? Finished about an hour ago, 98.7 for about 500 acres. Uncle's double cropping as I speak. It's nice. Those are good yields. We're running right around 100 bushel. The first field was like 94, the second went 99.9, and this one is right at 100 as well, last I looked. So, good wheat. He's done, so I'm going to stop and get out of the way. And it's been getting drier. We're under 13% here today, so the wheat has dried up. And let's see, he's not going to be able to get back unless he dumps clear on this end. So we're going to drive down here and wait for him. All right, flip it back. Sorry, I do still have to actually work. And we had about 470-ish total acres. We're 150 into it, maybe, something like that. Southwest Iowa, seen golden harvest sign that said E3. What does that mean? Yeah, so E3 is the herbicide platform for the soybeans. So there's different herbicide tolerance traits out there. E3 stands for Enlist. There's also the Extend platform and the Extend Flex are the three. So Golden Harvest has all three of them. Well, there's another one, the GT27s. We also have those, but most of them are either Enlist or moving towards the Extend Flex now. Which crop do you think your combine works best in? I mean, it's made for all of them. There's some things that we could adjust to make it better on wheat. Not adjust, we'd have to. The sieve and the chafer that we put in there are more suited for corn than they are for wheat and small grains. They have a different one that small grains uses, so we could do a little bit better job cleaning up our sample if we had a different chafer and sieve, but that's not real critical. Soybeans is probably where it's most impressive because it just eats green stem soybeans. It's really cool to watch that thing work. Corn, we don't push it at all with an 8-row head on it, so it's hard to say, but I mean it's a pretty good machine. It does a good job. Even now with 3,000 hours on it, well 2,500 hours on it, it's still a really good combine. I don't have the fancy branded water that I have to show off, so don't mind me. So these rows that we're in, Dad can't make around. It's too good a wheat for that. That's a good thing. And we like to dump heading towards the road, or towards the trucks anyway. But because he was doing end rows right now, we don't have a hole dug, so we're kind of dumping going away from the trucks. But he has to be empty when he gets to the far end of the field here in order to get back. So that's what we got to deal with. Planted any double crops? Yes, Nick, we got some double crops in this afternoon. We're going to do some more tonight or tomorrow. In my area, chicken litter is spread in the spring, mostly for the nitrogen as well as the organic matter. Are you building nutrients with litter in July? Yeah, so we're spreading the chicken litter as a phosphorus and potassium replacement for our dry broadcast, the commercial fertilizer. And you kind of lose some of that nitrogen. It would be nice to be able to utilize that a little better, which is what the cover crops were for, to help capture that nitrogen and then break down and release it the following year when we do have corn there. We're usually too wet in the spring to spread chicken litter and not pack the crap out of the ground. So that's why we do all applications and not spring, because we just can't get it done. It would delay planting and it would cause all kinds of compaction and problems. We may do some chicken litter after soybeans this fall. We'll see. Ever grow edamame soybeans? We have not, although I don't think there's any really difference in the soybeans. It's just when you harvest them. How many acres beans y'all gonna plant in second crop? So the plan here is to plant somewhere between 2 and 250 acres. roughly. I don't know, about 200 is what I'm hoping to get in. Hopefully before it rains Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know if we're going to make that though. Would Golden Harvest allow you to take on, offer another seed brand? Do they have any stipulations that you can only offer? So, I don't think that they actually have those. I know some other dealers that have multiple brands, although they've had them for a while. I know here 4 or 5 years ago there was a pretty big push to kind of drop the guys that wouldn't be exclusive. It would be a lot easier to sell if I picked up another brand that was selling something that Golden Harvest didn't offer, like conventional soybeans, or if there was a reason for it, and I'm not moving business from Golden Harvest to another brand. But I have little desire to do so. Golden Harvest has been fairly good to me. They're pretty easy to work with, and we've done well with them. The crops are good. I have really good friends that work for Golden Harvest, people that I was friends with before they started working for Golden Harvest that are now there, and so I would feel pretty crappy picking up another brand. Losing reception. Oh no, sorry. I was kind of worried about that. I don't have the best cell phone service, but I figured this was the best field I was going to get. Is all the wheat going to be double crop? No, not all of it, but half of it-ish. How come you run the end dividers on the header? I heard a couple take them off for wheat because they push over when turning and they just aren't needed as much in beans. We just run them. That's the way the head came, and we like to have them, especially in down crops, wheat and beans. I like the newer style heads where they're a much shorter divider because of exactly that. When you turn, it pushes stuff over. And I know that there are some different styles. You can take the end points out and put on there, but we've just run them as they are. Al, welcome to the live stream. You'll plug the head before you'll plug an S680 with an 8-row, unless maybe you're trying to harvest green corn. Yeah, I don't think I could ever plug the combine in corn unless something broke and wasn't spinning like it's supposed to. Do you guys ever look at MacDon Draper heads when you guys were looking at Draper heads? Not really. There are a few deer combines around with MacDons on them, but most of the guys that run those are running red combines. And personally, I think that the flex cutter bar of the deer is a lot better than the MacDon, at least at the time when we bought this. Theirs were more of a hinged draper than a true flexible cutter bar. So I know there are other equipment brands and options out there, but we really like working with John Deere. Their service from the dealers is very good, and we have options as far as what dealers we go to. So all of the Deere dealers we work with are better than the best of the other brands dealers that I've ever dealt with. I've tried working with them, and I just think maybe it's because I don't have a shed full of red or yellow or silver or any other color equipment. I don't know, but I've never been real happy with the other local dealers. It's just my opinion. Can you run chicken litter through a regular manure spreader? You probably can, but the outfit that we get ours from, for one price, they haul it and spread it, and we buy it, and we've never had to spread it ourselves. They just do it, and they have big litter spreaders on tracks, and they do a good job. All right, we've got to top off the truck here so Phil can get back to the farm and get one unloaded. He did, well, I guess I don't know that he did. He was working on getting the auger set up into that bin so that he could start filling the bin. We've got dry wheat, so it can go directly in a bin now. Close to home yet? I mind you. Good job, love the rain car duty. Should demo a MacDon head. Yeah, back and forth from St. Louis. Pay attention. Don't ask me how full this truck is. You don't want to know. It's a little full. Do you guys see that? Phil is pulling a 500 bushel wagon with his pickup. It's loaded. He got it to move though. I'm impressed that it moved. Usually if you can get it started, you'll be alright. Alright, where were we? What kind of yields do you hope to get on double crop beans? Hope or expect? Hope to get, I would love to get 40 bushel double crop. That'd be awesome. It's happened before. One year I had a field of double crops go like 43, 44 bushel, which was fantastic. Realistically, I'm hoping for 30, but I'll be happy if they're 15 or 20 because we're still making a bunch of money at that. So it's hard to say what they're going to do. It all depends on the weather from here on out. Right now, we're setting with good moisture. It's warm. They're going to jump out of the ground, and it's the 4th of July. It's not the 10th or 12th or 15th of July. So we've got a lot of things working for us and pretty good potential. But it's got to keep raining all summer in order to actually have good beans. But we'll see. All right, I caught up, guys. I need some more questions. What else do you want to know or see? This is a good job for running grain cart or doing live streams, running grain cart, because I have time to read the questions. All right, Nathan. Maybe I'll send you an email about another brand. Okay. Feel free, Taylor. As long as it pays more than the labor and fuel, who cares what the yield is? I hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Yeah, so let's talk about that, the economics on double crop beans right now, right? So in order to plant this double crop bean crop, we have a couple of things that we have to pay for, basically. Cost, our expenses. Seed, we have to buy seed. Seed is a little bit cheaper for double crop. The seed company cuts us a deal on that. We're going to have around $50 an acre into the seed cost. Okay? It also costs us something to plant them. How much per acre? I don't know. A little time, maybe a little wear and tear on some equipment and some fuel. Let's say it's $10 an acre to plant them. That's probably pretty high, but let's just say that. So we're up to $60 an acre. You also have to combine them, right? So custom rates would be like $30 an acre. It doesn't cost us that much, but what the heck? Call it $30 an acre. So you're up to $40 in equipment costs and $50 for seed. Let's round up. Let's call it $100 an acre that it costs us to plant the double crop beans. It may be closer to 75, but let's just call it 100. So if beans are $14, which they are right now, what's 100 divided by 14? Well, 100 divided by 15 would be what, 7? It's around 7. It takes 7 bushel an acre to pay for all of our expenses. We've got to spray them, but we're going to spray it anyway. We're going to spray this wheat stubble to kill the weeds off, regardless of whether there's double crop beans in it or we just leave it as bare wheat stubble. The timing will be different, but it's still going to happen. So that's not an added expense. That's the same expense as we would have had anyway. And we're not doing, we did disc some, but we're going to do the tillage work anyway, one way or another. So you can't figure any added cost for any of those other passes because they're things that were going to happen regardless. So if we get 10 bushel beans, it was worth it. If we get 20 bushel beans, we're more than doubling our investment. And you're talking about...
You want to dump in the center here, or want me to go on the south edge?
You can go in the center, I'll come over there. So, 20, 30, 40 bushel, and all of a sudden, we're making a bunch of money planting double crop beans. Somebody do the math for me. What's 30 times 14? Here in central Missouri, are we Ruined. Hit 16 inches of rain last 2 weeks. Yeah, I heard Missouri and Arkansas got hammered with this rain. Would a 780 be the next combine, or shop around a little more? Most likely it's going to be a 780. I would consider looking at something else. I've even considered dropping down a size and going to a 770, but likely a 780. You should put a flag on your car. I thought about that today. I got that flag I put up at my seed warehouse that I can tack on. I was going to do it on the air seeder actually because I was planning on I need a flag. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why are you so zoomed in? There. Shift it over one notch there. For whatever reason, 39 feet, 5 inches is just a little too wide, and you end up with a little skip with a 40-foot head. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. Where are we at? What advice do you have for someone wanting to start a corn and bean farm? Not easy to do on your own. It's easier if you have somebody to help you or something to come back to start with. I'm the first one to admit that I was very fortunate that I had our farm with my dad, had it well established for me to come back to. But start small and do what you can to...
Top of the hill is wider than the rest of the field.
Top of the hill is what in the rest of the field? Is wider?
Top of the hill is wider than the rest of the field because of the slope.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. The curve. He's saying that he's got a can't get it all in the head because it's wider. He's not wrong, but it's not significant. So anyway, as far as the advice goes, yeah, it's hard. Start within your means and do the best you can. Try and find some custom work. Good luck. I'd like to see more people be able to do it. I would love to see a family farm history video. You thought about doing something like this? I have. I still have that in the back of my mind. I would really like to do it. It's just a matter of getting it done. I went through some photo albums a few months ago and pulled a bunch of pictures and stuff, so I'm getting stuff around to do it, but I need Dad to sit down with me. Apple or cherry pie? Apple, for sure. You mentioned full crop the air seeder. I know you said in the past you prefer a planter to a drill, but are you optimistic about the results from the air seeder? Right, so Brandon, I did in fact pull the air seeder out and plant beans with the air seeder today. And the reason was because we wanted to try it and make sure everything was working and figure out how to run it before we got into wheat. It's a little bit more critical. If you're going to screw something up, double crop beans is the place to do it. But I think there's also some advantage of 10-inch rows versus the 15 of the planter. Probably insignificant, I don't know. But I do like the narrower rows the later we get. So, yeah, it works. And I think it will be just fine. It's the later we get, the less important singulation and spacing and depth control and all those things are. Not that they're not important and I don't want to do a good job. Don't take that the wrong way. But we're planting super thick. I'm planting 200,000 seeds per acre in beans. So you're not going to singulate them. It's basically a solid row of beans anyway. And as far as the depth control goes, I need them in moisture, but we've got plenty of moisture. And they're going to jump out of the ground in 3 or 4 days here. It's not, they're going to grow really fast because it's hot. So the advantages that the planter has earlier in the spring are negated when we get late like this, let's say. Weed control too. Yeah, going back to the double crops. Right, so we do have weed control in beans, but like I said, we're going to spray the wheat stubble anyway, so it's not an added expense. Do you think since Godfrey Brothers sold to Greenmark that the service is worse? The service, no. I've been really happy with getting them out to do any service calls or anything that we've needed done. I don't think they're going to be quite as easy to work with on the sales of buying new equipment side of stuff. but that remains to be seen. We haven't really bought anything since that buyout happened, so we'll see. So far, I can't complain about Greenmark. They've been really good to work with. I love their parts shed that they put in our driveway, and they just bring stuff to me. It's a lot easier and faster to get parts from Greenmark than it ever before it got merged together. And like I said, so far everything's been just fine. But we haven't gotten around to pricing a new combine or tractor or anything else really. So, where are your main men today? Yeah, they're at home with Mom. They had a busy last couple of days. They went to the zoo yesterday with Mom and Grandma, so they're home, probably driving my wife crazy. Corn and beans got flooded in our area. There's pockets just south of us that had quite a bit of flooding, or not, I shouldn't say flooding, but the low spots in the fields have started to drown out or die, so. X9. Yeah, X9's not in the cards. Sorry. We just don't have the need for it. You can't put an 8-row corn head on an X9 combine. Down here in southern Illinois, my cousin calls it poverty grass, but they sell and use straw. Yeah, so I've heard that, poverty grass, and I was going to make a comment in yesterday's video. When it's 100 bushel wheat and the price is $6.50 plus, you can't really call it poverty grass. There's some income there. You're doing okay. Esteban, I don't know what that says, but welcome to the live stream. Ever break the cutter bar? Yes, I've broken lots of cutter bars on this head. For whatever reason, this draper head seems to break cutter bars more than our old one ever did. I don't know why. But so far this summer, none, which we shouldn't with new knives and good guards on it. You're selling the straw, I assume. What do you get per bale? Honestly, I don't even know. I'm selling it to a buddy of mine, and I don't even know if he pays us by the acre or by the bale. I think it's by the bale. I want to say it's I'm not even going to say, because I don't know. It's enough to make it worth it for the fertilizer value he's removing and taking stuff off, but getting the residue off the fields actually helps us out too, so yeah. How do you like the John Deere no-tub disc drill so far, other than the bottom covers might be open? Yeah. It worked good today when I did it. My Uncle Jack actually came up and he was riding with me, and he did most of the field, but I got it going. The monitor is nice, being able to watch the population and to dial it in based on that, and also having the blockage monitor so you can tell if a row is not planting. Awesome. That was really nice. It's still a pain in the butt to adjust and work on and crawling underneath the seed tanks and everything. But it's a whole lot easier to unfold than the old double drills were, and it's nice. We're gonna like it. I think it's gonna get rebuilt before wheat, but we like it. As my dad would say, I only like two kinds of pie, hot and cold. Yeah, there you go. Hi from Ontario, welcome. Were your 9650s Walker or Bullet rotors, and what are your thoughts on rotary versus Walker? Right, so we did not actually have a 9650. We had a 9550 and a 9660. The 9550 was a Walker machine. The 9660 was a rotor machine. So the rotors have more capacity than the Walkers, no doubt about it. The Walkers did have better straw quality and nice long straw that we don't get with the rotors. But those two combines, we ran both of those at the same time. There was absolutely no comparison whatsoever. The rotor would outrun the Walker machine, run circles around it, just not even close. Heard the cutter bars with a weak link in those headers, and that's why a lot of guys run the MacDons. The 640 drapers. Could be, I don't know. I've heard bad things about MacDon cutter bars as well. Not so much with them breaking, but if you break a guard or a knife on them, you have to stop and replace it because you'll miss a trail of beans where that broken one is. Where with this combine and this header, if I break a knife, it's not a big deal. Or if I have a broken guard, as long as it's just one, it's not a big deal. So usually I run it unless it's causing problems, or I change it first thing in the morning. So I don't know. The owners of Green Mark are my uncles. Well, Derek, you should hook me up with some sponsorships then. Come on, man. 50 cents to $1 bill. Yeah, I was going to say $1 a bale, but I'm not entirely sure it's that much. Maybe it's 80 cents, 70. I don't even know. Why are you stopped waiting on grain cart? I am the grain cart, man. That's why we're stopped. I'm waiting on a combine. So, yeah. Let me, am I zoomed in? No. All right, so our trucks are over there. Why is he still here? That truck is full. Oh, he's not back yet. He took that wagon. Never mind. So our trucks are over there. Dad's cutting a hole through the middle here, so he brought this windrow here, he combined going the other way, and then he had a full hopper and we had to unload while he was going that way down the field. So that was what we just did and what is in the grain cart right now. And rather than taking this back to the truck and unloading it, I decided to just stay put and catch him after he goes down, makes the turn and comes back up. We'll catch him going the other way. So I don't turn around until I know where I'm gonna be, because I mean, if I turned around and was heading the other way and he got full down there, I'd have to turn around again and I wouldn't know it until he called me on the radio and said, hey, get over here. So I just kind of sit here until I'm sure that he's going to make it to me, and then we'll get turned around and unload, head back the opposite direction that I'm facing right now. All right. So that's why we're sitting, because I am the grain cart. Glad your crops look really good. Thanks for the vids. Yep. What the what? What? John, what? Tab for the camera. Is that what? Itching my eye? There you go. I'll tell Fames about your channel tomorrow. Okay, you can do that. Them. There you go. Heard a rumor that the Department of Agriculture were paying $3,800 per acre, but I don't know. Is that true? Just saw it on TikTok and I have researched it and haven't found anything else. I don't know anything about that. $3,800 an acre is a lot. I've heard of some programs out there to permanently take ground out of developmental stuff, like you can sell the developmental rights off and they'll pay pretty high sums of money for that kind of stuff, but that'd be the only thing I could think of that would warrant that kind of a payment. CRP is like maybe, I don't even know, $150, maybe $200 an acre per year now, which even that seems stupid high to me, but whatever. Maybe it's not that high. I don't really know. We don't have any ground in CRP except for maybe a couple of filter strips along the edges of some ditches and stuff. Were you able to find out what kind of disease your crop has? I haven't really looked into it. It's a holiday weekend. I can't get an agronomist out here right now. No, it's not that important. The wheat is still really good. I was talking to somebody. Is that my dad? Or somebody else that knows something, maybe? But not that my dad doesn't, but you know what I mean, agronomist-wise. But they made it sound like this late rain, the disease came in late after the head was already formed and maturing, and our fungicide basically was gone at this point, and so that disease came in, and it didn't hurt our yield really. It's just makes it look bad, but I think we're okay. Thanks for the daily videos. Been doing this since number 11. Well, Elam, I hope you went back and caught the first 10, and thank you. Southern straw by the pound, 3 cents per pound here in Ontario. Yeah, well, that would mean they would have to weigh everything. The bales are pretty consistent on how much they weigh, so if we get paid by the bale, it's the same thing as paying by the weight, more or less. You guys ever done your own school? In fact, that gray shed that we have in the back where we were working on the combine the other day, that was put up because we stored straw in it. We used to bale a lot of straw. One year we did 25,000 bales of straw. But back around 2006-ish, we decided we didn't want to bale straw anymore. And so we sold all of our straw equipment to my buddy that does the baling now. Best decision we ever made, right? You want to watch me or the combine? Too late, you're going to watch the combine. Sun's getting into that hard to see angle, but that's alright. It is amazing how much material runs through that combine when we're cutting wheat. I mean, that is a lot of material. What's the first articulated tractor you bought? So, back when I was a kid, like a little kid, we had some old Case articulated four-wheel drives. I can't even remember the numbers on them. 2970, 2870 sounds sort of right. I don't know. They were junk. The second time we had to put an engine in one of them, they went bye-bye, and we bought a John Deere 4955. That was an awesome tractor. And then we did not have an articulated tractor again until 2004 when we bought a 9300, John Deere 9300. And then we kept that one until we traded it off in 2014 on our 9510. So, yeah. All right, he's done. So we're going to head to the trucks to get unloaded. The cart is not full, but there's no reason to cart extra wheat and weight around when it's not necessary. So we unload. Make sure you tell Brock I'm proud of him for giving you a hard time about how clean the green cart was left in the fall. I enjoyed watching him poke at you. Yeah, I get some flack from you guys sometimes because you think I'm too hard on him, and he gives it back just as much. So. He does a pretty good job. It's good to have help. I bet you miss running the irrigation pump. Not at all. I'm so thankful we've had rain and I haven't had to get that out. I'm still hoping I don't have to get it out. But if we do, we will. But the longer it sits in the barn, the better. Do you cut low to the ground to get more straw? Seems like that makes a lot of material that has to go through the combine. No. We cut the wheat to cut the wheat. Yeah, straw is, we do sell the straw. There's a little bit of money in the straw. It is minimal and insignificant, relatively insignificant compared to the actual grain in the wheat. So we're not going to modify how we farm and combine just to get more straw. You would have to drive super slow to put all that material through the combine. And we don't play that game. So the windrows are big enough as it is. Trying to bale with a small square baler coming out of a 40-foot head they got plenty of straw. And when I was in some of that down stuff yesterday, that I had to cut it really low, those windrows are just massive. So they don't really want me to cut it lower, and I don't want to cut it lower. And having some of that straw residue out here is not a terrible thing. Alright, what do we got on the cart here? 43,000 pounds, so it will all fit, a little over half full. Up fast sometimes. That's why I like that adjustable spout, because I can just move it forward and it works. There goes Phil, our other truck. Yeah, she's full. Empty. 43,000 pounds we unloaded. When that stops, okay, so now it's recorded that. 43,006 pounds on that truck. We need about 15,000 pounds to make it full. So we'll go back and catch Dad on another round, and we should have enough to fill this truck. But I'm way faster than he is. He's barely heading the other way, and we're already ready to go. But we don't need to catch him now. We don't need to unload going that way. We'll catch him when he's coming back up. So we're actually going to drive down this way, and we'll just drive around the back of him when he's coming up on this other side. There you go. All right, back to me. Hey guys, hit that like button. 107. There's 245 of you watching. Okay. What's the price of land per acre? Hi, you're back. Anyway, I would think 5,000-6,000 an acre would buy something, but I could be wrong. Look forward to your videos on rebuilding the 1895 to 1990. But yeah, hopefully I won't be doing that, and there won't be very much for videos because I don't want to work on it. But we'll see. Phil usually took care of the drills, so I'm hoping that he continues to take care of the air seeder. My corn is at V4. I think that's good for sweet corn in a week or two. What I like about this channel is your farm is within 70 miles of me, and I can kind of use your videos as a guide for planting and fertilizer program. You're welcome. Where's Brock? He's a good hand. Brock was here earlier. He had to work tonight, so he left at 4. And he was running this with Dad while I was getting the beans planted, so that worked out. He'll be here tomorrow. I think he said he'd be here as long as he needs to be tomorrow, although one of the local towns here has a 4th of July parade tomorrow morning, and he's got to go to that for fire department EMS purposes to drive, be in the parade. Because it looks good, he said. So I don't care. Go to the parade. Where will you plant wheat next season, after corn or peas? Well, we don't grow any peas, so it won't be that, but it'll be after soybeans. We always plant wheat after soybeans. Happy 4th. Hello, Nathan. Hello, all. Good harvest to everyone. Welcome. Hello from Illinois. How's your wheat crop doing? The wheat is good, and we've been pretty happy. So we're in 100 bushel wheat. That's pretty dang good. When I bale straw, I pay $1 a bale. Depending on how and where it sells, it can go as high as $6.50 a bale. Wow, $6.50 is pretty good for straw. I think they were getting $5-6 a bale for hay last I knew. I heard maybe $9 corn soon due to the drought down south and north. Yeah, 9 would be, that's pushing it. But right now the supply and demand charts look good for good corn prices. There's good and bad to that. Our costs are going to go through the roof for next year, which if we sell the crop high prices, that's okay. They balance each other out. But we're going to destroy our markets here pretty quick. So there's nothing I can do about it. We need to somehow get your dad a camera. Maybe if I send him one. I doubt it. If I had critters to feed, it would probably be a different story. Get as much food for your feed free as possible. Yeah. No, the prettier or more golden the straw is, the more it goes through. Yes, that is true. The brighter the straw, the more premium market, which is stupid because it's worse quality. For bedding or what they're using it for, you want straw to get rained on and be dark. It's more absorbent. It's better. But this is good straw. Until it gets rained on, it's really good straw. Have you ever considered picking up another cab tractor to keep the hours and the weather off the 40/20 when you do irrigate? Not really. Not really. 40/20 still gets used. It's still a workhorse. Someday, 20 years from now, me and my boys will restore it for the second time, and then maybe it'll get retired. But for right now, it's not the workhorse, but it still gets used. Has your uncle done anything else to the F12? No, I keep thinking about that project. I really need to get back to it. I'm kind of frustrated myself. It's been almost a year and we've not done that much. COVID kind of threw a wrench in that because he didn't come up as much over the winter and kind of delayed that project. So, but I have been thinking about it. We'll get back to it. Hot and dry in North Dakota. I know, I feel for you guys. You thought about entering a fourth crop market. I assume you mean another commodity, another fourth crop. Not seriously, not really. There was talk of barley a few years ago or some different stuff, but you got to have a market for it. And the problem with any of that specialty stuff is, especially if it's food grade, like the barley was for malting, there's some spelts growing around here for a different type of flour. If the quality isn't there, then you can't sell it. They don't have a market, and you got to try and feed it or something, and we don't have the ability to do that. So I do know of a farm north up in Michigan, 100 miles or so, that's growing some canola. I don't know. It's cool. I don't know if there's a market for it. Disease in your wheat affect the quality of the grain or just yield? I really don't think it affected the yield. I think it was late enough that it came in that the wheat was already made. And so far, there doesn't seem to be any quality issues as far as what we've sold so far. I don't even know. I haven't asked Phil if they're testing for vomitoxin or not, but I haven't heard anything about it. Have you guys ever had any livestock? We have in the past had livestock. We had pigs back when I was a kid till the mid-90s, early 90s. Nothing commercial since then. 4-H animals. Straw actually softer after rain on. Yep. Oh, hey Joey. Welcome back. I heard you left me for a while. How's the 680 in corn? Yeah, like I said, with a 8-row corn head on a 680 Class 8 combine, we're not pushing it. It does fine. It does everything we need it to do, but we're not stressing that combine in corn at all. Everyone thought $7 was impossible, and now it's here. The 9 will wreck every commodity. Yeah, 9 would. It would be fun to sell $9 corn, but it's not a good thing. Long run, it's not. So, there's currently 210 people watching this. You guys know it's the 4th of July, right? Like, don't you have anything better to do? Watch me farm on the 4th of July? Come on. No, I appreciate you joining, and I don't know, we'll probably wrap this up fairly soon. Dad's got some more endos and stuff to do. We got a variety change over there. I'm really curious to see if the other variety is going to be any better, drier, wetter, any of that kind of stuff. But, yeah. He looks pretty full. I might have to go back there farther. Anyway, sorry if you already said, but they're going to be going to the elevator with the wheat. I don't remember you having any in your bins. Yeah, so we are hauling some in. We've got some contracts for harvest delivery here, July, August. I think Phil said like 15,000 that's got to go. It's going to Mommy Anderson's in Toledo, basically. So he's been hauling that. We do have those 3 little bins that are out back, not connected to our grain leg, that are going to be filled up with wheat. So Phil was getting the auger set up. He may be putting this stuff in the bins now. I haven't been there to know. What's the hours on the combine? And wish combines weren't disposable and were rebuildable. Yeah, so our combine's sitting right around, ooh, dang, he is full. Right around 2,500 engine hours. Combine is high on the list of things to replace. I don't think at this point we'll get one before fall. It was talked about at one point, but looks unlikely. But before next year, most definitely. The question is, do we try and find a good used one that's a year or 2 old, fairly low houred, or do we price a new one? Can we find a new one if we wanted to do that? There's a lot of variables, so I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, he is full. Here, watch. Look. Still moving, but he's going slow because he's waiting for me. watch the pretty combine work for a little bit. What crops do you have? So we raise corn, soybeans, and wheat. And we are clearly harvesting wheat at the moment. Do they grow any dry beans in your area? No. Dry beans are up northern, in the thumb of Michigan, pretty far north of us. I don't know why we don't grow them here, if it's just that we don't have the market for it, or the companies that buy them are based up there, I don't know. But no, they're not. There's not a lot of specialty stuff around here. If you guys grow tomatoes, as you go east, there's some cucumbers and a little bit of other specialty stuff, cabbage. But right in our immediate area, there's very little of anything other than corn, soybeans, and wheat. Whoa. You gonna take a break or slow down after the second crop bean planting? Take a break from what? I just went on vacation 2 weeks ago. So after wheat harvest is done, yeah, I don't know what we got to do. We got to get the beans planted, obviously. We've got a tile project coming up in one of the wheat fields, and yeah, he's done, so we're going to drive up here. We may end up irrigating some beans at some point here. I don't know. It's always a possibility. Towards the end of August, we'll be working some of this wheat stubble down and seeding some cover crops. With wheat harvest being a little early, it's getting stuff done quicker. We're gonna have a month or a month and a half of other projects. You know, obviously my house project is a big one that's still moving, so we'll be probably doing some work with that. I don't know, cleaning up equipment. We're gonna have a air seeder to rebuild and the bean planter to put away and clean up. So happy 4th of July from rainy Ireland. Thank you. What's your deer control program? Yeah, not good. We have some hunters, but they seem to like to attract the deer more than kill the deer. I have to dig out the barbecue and fire up a couple too. Procrastinating entire life, so I'm still here. Sounds good, man. I wish I could meet you guys. We still run our old 1420 International Combines. Yeah, there you go. Those are classics now. I was thinking about this earlier. I was just reminiscing a little bit and remembering. I can very much remember when I was a kid, we were buying a new combine, and I remember going to pick out a head. And I remember going to the John Deere dealer. This was at Troxel's down in Bluffton, Indiana, Wabash, somewhere in Indiana. For whatever reason, we bought a combine there. And sorry, internet, cell service. They had a couple rows of these heads, and I remember like just going with that, and I couldn't have been 10, not even. And I remember them looking at one and trying to pick one out based on how straight the cutter bar was and stuff. And it occurs to me now, those were all junk heads. It was just, for us, going from, I think that was when we went from a 6620 to a 9500. Maybe it was the 9500 to the 9510, I don't know. Like, that was such a big deal and a big jump, and it was an old used combine at the time. It wasn't like it was a huge, I mean, it was a big upgrade, but it wasn't buying a brand new combine or something like we do now. And so it's your mentality of what you're doing and how nice your equipment is, or your, it's so different for everybody depending on what stage you're in not necessarily your life, but your farming career and everything. And we're in a better spot now that we can afford to buy some nice equipment, and we're farming the acres to justify it. So yeah, it's exciting and it's awesome, and I really like it. But it's just as exciting for, you know, somebody driving a 1460 internet or 1420 International Combine to update that to something that's 20 years old is just as exciting as me going and buying a new one, I think. So man, you do the best you can with your situation and make the best of it, right? Ever had fusarium in your wheat up here in northern Canada the last couple of years that has shown up? Yes, we have, but we spray for it every single year. Your dad would be firing you for being too slow. Yeah, he didn't call me on the radio, so he wasn't. I didn't know. I was in the same spot we had started dumping most of the rest of the time. Watching the wheat feed into the combine on the Draper belt is mesmerizing. It is indeed. I want to take my GoPro and take some cool GoPro shots of different places on the combine, like I did with the corn last year. Problem is, all that stuff takes time, and I'm pretty impatient when I'm trying to run the combine. We'll get there. What's wrong with the combine is the room to run it a few more years. Still have a good trade-in value, and have you thought of putting 100 bushel extension on that? Still allow factory full? No, on the extension. Don't really have a need for it. I guess you could say we do, so you can make rounds in certain spots, but it's hard on everything. Weight, all that weight. And what's wrong with it? There's nothing really wrong with it. Our maintenance bills are getting higher, and it's just a reliability thing, right? So typically we run a combine to 2,000 hours-ish or somewhere in that ballpark, and then we trade, and we're there. The last combine we bought was a 9660 before we got this one. We ran it for 7 years. Well, this wheat harvest is our 7th full year. We got it between wheat and soybeans, and we've done 7 crops of corn and soybeans with it, and this is the 7th wheat crop. So it's just that time frame in our rotation when we would normally think about upgrading the combine. And the technology has got newer ones. Ability to run different things is better, and reliability, I think, is going to start being a big one. You just never know. You get a combine with 3,000 hours on it, and you don't know what could break and when. And we have enough acres to do, and with only one combine, we can justify having something a little bit newer and better. So I know there are people that have lower equipment costs than we do, but there are also people that have quite a bit higher equipment costs. And the combine is that one thing we've always kind of thought you're going to have a combine payment. It's an expensive machine that takes a lot of abuse and a lot of wear, and so you've got to plan on making a combine payment. And really, we figure $15 an acre is justifiable. Ours is not that high, and we don't want to be that high, but you could justify $15 an acre for a combine payment. If we were custom harvesting, or having someone custom harvest for us, I'm sure it would cost every bit of $30 an acre, if not $35. Now that's going to include your fuel and the labor and your maintenance. But the point being, $15 an acre for the machinery side of that is not outrageous. And if you figure out 3,000 plus acres times 7 years that we're going to run it, times 15 bucks, that's a lot of money we can justify spending on a combine. Now, obviously, you still want to do things reasonably and cheaper if possible. That's how you justify it. Hi from Jackson, Michigan. Work on the farm all a little bit. I haven't. I need to. Will you get finished with that field or tonight? You know, I didn't think we were going to, but we're getting awfully close, so if Dad will stick around, then we might. I don't know how many acres we got left. Yeah, we're gonna have to meet him on the other end. He's got some more end rows to do down there. I imagine a grain elevator here in central Missouri, and I did manage. Oh, I managed. It's managed to get 100,000 bushels of good wheat before all the rain. Well, that's good. I mean, I don't know what percentage normal that is, but it's something, I guess. This fall cover crop showing positive results. Very little is done around Fort Wayne. Well, so that oats and radish cover crop that we did last year after wheat, you know, I was not real impressed with it this spring because those fields stayed so wet, it was hard to get them planted. I will say now the corn looks really good there, though. I would imagine if we turn off dry, those will be some of our better stuff. But we're not dry, and we'll see. There's a lot to be determined yet on how they work out. I liked the system of doing it last fall. I liked the fact that I could just go in and plant it this spring and not have to do any tillage. But I very much did not like the fact that it stayed so wet that it was too wet to plant the last day we were planting corn after we hadn't had any rain for a week and a half. So, to be determined. I want to find me an old John Deere 45 or 3300. I'm sure they're around. Several 6620s, 7720s around. Troxels is my dealer. I have a buddy that works for TTG now. Hello from Kansas. Enjoy watching your videos. Happy 4th. Thanks, Dan. Taking a week or two. Cool. Take a GoPro inside the combine. There are no good videos inside the combine. Yeah, so that is something I am going to do when I do this. Wheat, we're not running the straw chopper, so there's a little less risk of me sticking a magnet with a GoPro in the back of a combine. I may get the old GoPro and not the new one, just in case. How much land do you rent compared to own? Is your farm about average size for your area? I would call us a medium-sized farm in general. There are bigger-sized farms around us, but there are a lot of smaller farms. So bigger size, but not the biggest by any means. As far as rent versus own, 1/3. It's hard. A lot of that's so it's hard. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. The guy I worked for on harvest said they charge $30 an acre and so much bushel on top of that. Yeah, see, if you're $30 an acre plus a premium per bushel, even if it's only 5 or 10 cents, that adds up, right? How surprised are you at what your wheat is making? I'm not really surprised. I was optimistic that it was going to be this good, but I mean, we've had really good weather, and the wheat crop has looked really good. So I was hoping that it was going to be there. Enjoy your live chat. Wheat is on vacation. Good way to spend a Sunday evening. Yeah, thanks, Bert. All right, we are going to wrap this up here pretty quick, though. So if you have any last questions, get them in here real quick. Do you guys get a lot of rest in the winter months? Yeah, right. So farming is very seasonal, at least for us with no livestock. We're super busy in the spring. I like to compare spring planting versus fall harvest a sprint versus a marathon. So in the spring, it is go, go, go. We've got to get this stuff planted. We've got to do it right now. It's not uncommon for me to work 18-hour days or be out till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and be back at it at 6 the next day. But in the fall, and in the spring, it's 8 days. It's a week. We need a week. In the fall, I'm not working 11. Sorry, but the harvest is for that week or two that we're doing it. But then there's our downtime, right? So June was a little bit of a downtime. End July, August, first half of September is a little bit of downtime depending on the irrigation stuff. And it's a little bit slower. But then once we get into winter and after fall harvest and fall tillage, I work 8 to 5. I know the pace slows significantly. So it's just seasonal. Where are we at? Thanks for the chat. What is the black stuff you were talking about? It's some kind of a fungus or disease. I've heard of a couple different things. Smut. I don't think it's head scab. That's usually pinkish or white bleached out heads, and we don't have that, so it's something different. Doesn't seem to have been an issue, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. If I get an agronomist or somebody that knows what they're doing out next week, we'll go look at it a little closer. Enjoy the live stream. Thanks, everybody. Do you cash rent or on shares? Everything is straight rent that we cash rent. We don't do any shares or variable leases or anything like that. Thanks for the live chat, even with the Yucky Cell coverage. Did the best I could. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your 4th of July. If you got the day off tomorrow, throw a burger on the grill for me, have a beer, whatever. I'll be in the combine, bean planter, or the grain cart, something. I'll be driving equipment, so I will be happy, and we'll have a good time. There is a video coming out tomorrow morning. I'm going to keep making them every day we are, and things are good. Thanks for watching, everybody. Last one, Roger. Happy 4th. Thanks for sharing. Oh, wait. I saw another question here. What's your land rent in your area? Highly variable. I know of land rent as cheap as $100 an acre, and I know of stuff over $250. Ours is somewhere in the middle. So Anyway, see you guys.